Big giant show today. Cam Russ from the women's team comes on. We talked a little bit about Fordham, the game, the double overtime thriller that just happened in Walsh. But the big guest, obviously, Cam Russ. It's Thanksgiving week. Let's vibe. Welcome back to the latest and greatest episode of Pirate Vibes here on Big East Energy Network. I'm your host, Brian Webster. We've got a huge show, like I said, in the cold open. Patrick has a second interview. You know, he had Popkin last week. This week, he goes to the women's side and has Cam Russ, the transfer from Penn State, join him for an interview. So we're gonna start there, and then I'm gonna come back and kind of touch on the Fordham game. Here is Patrick with Cam Russ.
This week, we're joined by Cam Russ, forward on your Seton Hall Women's Pirates. Cam, welcome to Pirate Vibes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Very impressed by your play so far, especially out on the California trip. Really looks like you're showing the fans some stuff about your play that people may not have seen before, given that you're new to Seton Hall.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your feelings being on a team like this? You're one of three new transfers with Mariana Valenzuela and Giordano Cudio, and then there's a set of freshmen coming in. So basically you have three different groups trying to form together to form a team at this point of the season. So what's your feeling being a new member of this team?
Yeah, so I think because I was new into collegiate level last year, that I kind of knew what it was like to be a new kid, if that makes sense. So this year when I went into obviously a new environment, a new system, I think I was able to adapt quicker. So I think you can see that in my play too, that we just started this season, and I feel like each game I'm getting more and more comfortable in the offense and in the way and the culture and stuff. So honestly, it's pretty smooth. Everyone is very, welcoming and understanding, and has definitely like patience and stuff, learning the offense and everything. Especially what's nice is how we come in the summer. So the summer is kind of a chance for everyone to get to know each other, whether that means like personality-wise, character-wise, culture-wise, and also like the way everyone plays and stuff. So it was pretty smooth transitioning for me. Like I said, I had that experience as a freshman, and so I feel like that's a whole nother different experience. But because I'm a transfer, I think it was a little easier.
Excellent. Congratulations, by the way, on the successful road trip out to California.
Thank you.
2 games, 2 wins. Very impressive wins, by the way. And as I said before, your play was excellent. What's a couple of interesting things that you and the team maybe did off the court or around, California and San Francisco to maybe fill the fans in on what the experience was on that type of road trip?
Yeah, so basically we always have like team dinner together, whether that means like going out to eat and stuff. And we actually had a dinner with an alumni out in San Francisco. And so that was nice. We get to connect with, Seton Hall fan base and alums from Seton Hall, like everywhere around the country. So that was actually really cool. Another thing we did was we went on I would call it like a fire truck tour. And we actually rode across the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, Golden Gate Bridge. And so that was actually really cool. So I've never actually been there. And we saw Alcatraz. And so that was cool. So we make it, not just about basketball. It's also like a life experience. And so I think our coaches are really good at making sure that, we're enjoying ourselves while we do a trip like that, because we do have a couple days, I'm pretty sure we had a day when we got there, and then we had a day between games. So I think that was really fun for us to, bond as a team too.
You come from a travel basketball background. So was San Francisco the most interesting place you visited during your basketball career?
It was pretty interesting. Last year I went to Los Angeles because we played UCLA last year. So I've never been to LA, so that was pretty cool. But I would say going on a fire truck tour was pretty cool, especially because like there was no roof. So when we drove across the bridge, like we were all just getting wind. It was like a topless Jeep, if you can imagine. Like it was really cool. We were driving under the bridge. So that was definitely a new experience for me. So it definitely was. They made it really fun for us.
That video would have been interesting if it went on the gram. So
yeah, we took some pictures. I don't know if
I think I've seen a couple of them actually. Yeah, it looks like as I said, I'm glad the team had a good time. I'm glad the team got 2 wins, and hopefully it helps you guys out as you head into some of the tougher stretches of this season. One teammate that I got some word from my broadcast partner Brian. That you have had a relationship before you came to Seton Hall is Natalia Hall-Rosa.
Yes.
Apparently you've played AAU basketball with Natalia. So what's your relationship like with Natalia? And was she someone who sort of inspired you to think about coming to Seton Hall?
So that's a good question. So first, me and Nat, we met in AAU first, but we weren't playing on the same team. So I've been playing against Nat since I was a freshman in high school. And so I was playing on a different AAU team. And so I knew her from competition, from playing against her for many years. And then I changed AAU teams and I went to the Jaguars, the Bay State Jaguars, and that's where she was. So we went from playing against each other to being teammates. So we knew each other for years before then. And then we got closer on the Jags for sure because we played on the same team and also like different teams. The organization was very close. It was definitely like a family type vibe. So we got close through that. And then also we both played in the NEPSAC. So I was at Worcester Academy and she was at Rivers. And so we played against each other in high school and we played on the same team in AAU. So it always made it really fun when high school ball came around. And we'd always used to play with each other instead of being on the same team. So that's how our relationship kind of developed. And regarding your question about coming to Seton Hall, definitely helped a familiar face. So when you're in the transfer portal, it's a little intimidating. You're kind of, by yourself. You're trying to figure out where the best place is for you. And so knowing that she committed there definitely, drew me in a little bit because I knew I wouldn't be, super, super new. Like I had a familiar face. I had someone I could be comfortable with. So she definitely helped a little bit.
Excellent. What are some of the things that the coaches on the staff have been asking you to work on regarding your game since you came to New Jersey in the summer?
So I definitely, before I went to Penn State, I was probably like a 2-way player. So I would shoot a lot of threes out of high school. And so when I went to Penn State, my game kind of changed. My role in Penn State changed and they didn't really stress, me shooting threes and everything like that. So when I got to Seton Hall, was something that like really drew me in was their emphasis on me shooting the ball. And so I think that's what I really liked. I went from shooting the ball to not really shooting the ball. And now they want me to do that again, especially for their program. So I think all summer I just worked on my shot with Jose. And yeah, I think that was the main thing they wanted me to work on was making sure I become consistent with my threes and my shots. And yeah.
You said you worked with Coach Jose Rimbas, one of the assistant coaches. Does it intimidate you a little bit that his name is in the building on that big banner that talks about the 1989 Final Four?
I don't think it intimidates me. I think it encourages me and gives me confidence in my assistants and my staff. They know exactly what they're doing and I can trust them. So I guess I look on the banner like, yeah, I'm getting coached by someone who knows exactly what they're doing and who is good at their job. And so I have confidence in them and I have confidence in their ability to make me better and make my shot better.
Excellent. So obviously, I know myself and Brian and people who have talked about the team have been very impressed by your play and the play of everybody else so far. What are a couple of teams that the team is thinking about regarding who you're playing against in the Big East? Obviously, Connecticut, because they are the number 1 team in the country. But who are a couple of other teams that everyone is sort of looking forward to playing when we get into Big East play starting in about a month?
Yeah, so I was at the Big Ten, so I only heard about the season. I couldn't tell you from personal experience from last year, but I have heard that Marquette and Creighton are two teams that we really want to, go head on with. I heard Marquette has 5 returning starters. And so that's definitely a team that, people have a lot of confidence in this year. So I know Coach B and the rest of the staff have really emphasized that is a team that we're going to go attack and we're going to go do our best at, for sure. And then also Creighton, with the rankings, us being 3, them being 2, and, them going back and forth with us. So I think, those teams that are closer in competition when it comes to the rankings or opportunities to go to the NCAA tournament, I think those are really ones that our coaches stress that we have to really lock in on. So I think those two are just quick couple examples of the two teams that, we're aware of and we're preparing for.
Okay, a couple of questions as we wrap it up. Who are a couple of WNBA players who you appreciate watching and who you might be trying to style your game against?
I would say Nafisa and Asia Wilson. So Nafisa is just a very
That's Nafisa Collier of the Lynx, right?
Yes. So Nafisa is very dynamic and versatile. And I think one of the best things about my game is that I do a little bit of everything. I don't like being held in a box. And I feel like those two players are the epitome of what it means to be versatile and dynamic and doing various things, whether that's rebounding, shooting threes, driving, and kicking, assists. I want to contribute to all aspects of the game. And I think those two really model exactly what I'm striving to get to.
And obviously, Asia Wilson's star, I think she's playing now for the Las Vegas Aces.
Yes.
And she was just the MVP, I believe, of the.
Yes, she did again. Yes.
So yeah, she's obviously one of the best players. She's one of the icons of the women's game, as is Nafisa Collier. You'll get some brownie points if some of the Connecticut women's fans are watching by dropping Nafisa's name in. They'll really appreciate that. They'll say Cam Rust is a knower of ball. So. You'll get some brownie points if any of them tune in on this.
That sounds good.
Last question. What are a couple of things about Cam that you enjoy off the court that you'd like the fans to know about?
Well, it could be anything, any hobby or anything. Yeah, so absolutely. I'm from Rhode Island. I'm from a beach town, and so I love going to the beach. I'm a huge beach girl. I love being outside. I have a really big family. I have obviously 2 parents. I have an older sister named Savannah, and I have 2 younger brothers who are twins, Kingston and Christian. So I'm a very big family girl. So I would say being with my family, and I just have appreciation for where I'm from now that I've grown up and see how beautiful it is, especially in the summer. So I would say spending time with my family and going to the beach and just being outside.
And they'll appreciate that you've come to the Big East and the Seton Hall because you'll get to play more home games close. You'll get not only
my parents are thrilled.
Plus, they get to see you in Providence. They're not far away from Connecticut.
Yep.
They can probably even take a quick ride to St. John's if they want to. So you'll be able to get family at a whole bunch of games this season. Well, I appreciate your time this evening, Cam. This was tremendous. I look forward to speaking to you and some of the other women on the team. And good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
No problem, Cam. This is Patrick Madden again for Pirate Vibes, and we'll be back with our next segment.
Welcome back to Pirate Vibes here on Big East Energy Network. That was a great interview by my co-host Pat Madden with Cam Russ, the transfer from Penn State, the Rhode Island native. Pat did a great job there introducing Cam to the Pirates here. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Cam brings to the court and providing that depth as she grows in the system with Tony Bozzella. Let's be we are going on that Thanksgiving break. Pat and myself, even Coach Vizella, talked about it back when the schedule came out that there was going to be a gap, right? There was going to be a pretty good sized gap after that game against Fordham, that West Coast trip. You're 4-0 right now. It doesn't even seem like they have gotten into the groove while other teams, are bing, 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 going, going, going. But the big one so far, the big news so far is that Fordham was a tough game. 90-83 in double overtime on Friday night. I'm recording this on Sunday evening, the 23rd. This will come out the 24th, special Thanksgiving edition. But obviously, this is a big game, right? This was a big game because this is the first game of the season for the Pirates that felt like it was going to be a tough game. First of all, here's the box score. I know it's a little tiny. I'll kind of go over it quickly as we go through it. First of all, let's talk about the steals, right? This team creates steals. Right now, they're 13th in the country by creating turnovers. Mariana, the post player, got 4, right? And I know she played 40 minutes, 42 minutes, but she still got 4 steals. Savannah Catalon, Jada Eads, even though Jada Eads, a quick note, was very ill. And Bozzella said after the presser that maybe it wasn't the best decision for Jada to play, but she's a gamer, man. Like, she showed it to you all last year, and she showed it again on Friday night. Then even like Cudio got a couple steals, and Jacayla Kraft. First of all, huge shout out to Jacayla Kraft. She comes off the bench, she plays 19 minutes, she doesn't get a lot of time, and she gets 7 points and 7 rebounds, all offensive rebounds. Hustle, 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 extending possessions. Jacayla Kraft is one of those names to watch out, and she was the player of the game a couple games ago against Pacific because she came in for Catalon. Well, tonight she came on, did her job, and got off the court. Messiah Hunter, first of all, Bozzella talked about her being on the press conference, right? Saying that she deserves to be a starter, or she wants to be a starter so much. She's in shooting every single day. And, of course, she hits that big three-pointer to kind of seal the deal. And Messiah Hunter needs a quick shout-out. She only had 5 points, right? But she had 6 rebounds. She played 29 minutes. Great minutes, too, for the most part. Right? She came on and did her job. Then we're going to go right back to the freshman with Zahara Bishop. Bishop Zahara, right? Comes hit free throws. Not having a great shooting day. 1 for 6 from the field. Comes and hits the free throws. 7 for 9. Right? Had 9 points. Contributing. This is the first time that there wasn't a blowout. So you didn't see all the freshmen, Ari Woodward or Natalia Hall Rosa. You might have seen them for a quick minute, which they were in, but it was not the typical depth that we saw with Bozzella. You saw him tighten up the rotation as the night went on and the game got challenged. First of all, let's shout out Alexis Black, right? 42 points for the Fordham Rams. 42 points. She was unstoppable. They scored. She scored nearly half their points, right? 42 out of 83. So you got to give a quick you got to give a shout out to her. A very, very special player. Shout out to Savannah Catalon. I know Bozzella went through it in his presser after, but Catalon, there's a late foul. They're down by 2. The girl misses the 2 free throws. Bozzella ices them. Catalon says, "Hey, if I get fouled on a defensive rebound, she earns the foul. She goes there, knocks down the free throws." The game goes tied. Savannah Catalon holding it down for the Seton Hall Pirates. 10 for 10 on free throws for Savannah Catalon. 4 for 13 on field goals. Not a great night. 2 for 7 from threes. But 10 for 10 at free throws. Never mind, she padded her stats or filled up the categories, not padded her stats. She filled up the categories, 20 points, 3 assists, 8 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds out of those 8, 3 steals, only 2 turnovers, played 47 minutes, 15 points out of her 20 were from the fourth quarter and on. So when the Pirates needed them. Going back to her free throws, 10 for 10. Second, there's only 3 players in the history of Seton Hall that have done 10 for 10 at the free throw line and perfect, at least 10 for 10. The rest of the players at Seton Hall have done it twice combined, one by one. 2 different players. Savannah Catalon's done it multiple times by herself. Just iconic, really, if you think about it. Savannah Catalon has been clutch for this team since she came here, and she continues to grow in her game, and it's awesome to watch. Definitely the leader on this team. Then we talk about Mariana Valenzuela. Quick shout out. When you got a stretch 5, going 5 for 8 from 3, that's going to keep a lot of teams honest. And when she's hitting and being able to grab rebounds on the defensive side and staying out of foul trouble, and of course the 4 steals, that's going to help out this team a lot. The biggest thing I see here is that he tightened up the bench, right? Cam Russ only got 4 minutes. Ja'Kayla Craft got 19 minutes. And you're talking about a game that went 50 minutes. This and Jada Eads was sick. He relied a lot on Pickney. He relied a lot on Valenzuela, who has only been with the team for 6-7 weeks. He talks about her legs all the time. She's getting there. But on Friday night, she did well. She did. You definitely have to shout out. And then the freshman, and we just talked about it, Zahara Bishop, to come in to a team that is trying to get to the tournament, right? You got an experienced team. You bring that freshman and give a little energy. For another Minnesotan, Ja'Kayla Craft, filling in those roles, and Messiah Hunter. Just an ultimate team effort, right? An ultimate team effort. And this is the kind of game that we talked about that they're going to need to get ready for the Princeton, the NC State, the Columbias, the Butler. Like, this schedule is going to ramp up quite a bit, and it's going to come by really, really quick because of this 12-day. I'm recording on the 24th. They haven't played in 3 days, nearly. It just past midnight on the 24th. They haven't played in 3 days. They haven't played since Friday night. They still have 8 more days after this, right? They still are not playing until December 2nd, Tuesday. Then they go play Thursday against Butler. That's a Big East game. You need to win that one. Then you go to NC State, which seems more winnable than we expected at the beginning of the season. But that is a resume builder. They've got to be able to hit these challenges over and over again. And then you got the 9th, which is 2 days. Then you got 5 days off. But then you got to come right back and you play 3 games in 5 days. So get the rest. Get ready. Continue to build this team camaraderie that Cam talked about in her interview. The Golden Gate Bridge and Alcatraz and all that great stuff and team dinners. Build that camaraderie. Let's take the next step. This is a tournament team. This is talent-wise, this is a tournament team. Let's make that very, very clear. The Big East kind of gets slept on, so they got to take care of business right now. They got to take care of business right now and then not slip up in the Big East. And that's how you get to the tournament now. If you watch all the bracketology, and I know it's way too early to look at bracketology, but a lot of them are saying it's only one team out of the Big East, and obviously we know who they are, which is a shame because there's a lot of decent teams in here, including the Seton Hall Pirates. Seton Hall Pirates, let's go beat Princeton. Let's go beat NC State. Let's go beat Columbia. And then we can tell them, you know what? It's time for you to put some respect on Tony Bazzel's squad. All right, that's another Pirate Vibes here on the Big East Energy Network. I'm Brian Webster. Pat, of course, Maui is coming for the men's team, right? When this episode comes out, you could be watching the men's team and play North Carolina State. Obviously, on both sides, the men and the women. We're going to see North Carolina State, the Wolfpack. So follow us at Pirate Vibes 89 on all social medias. Pat's got the Sports JD and the real Timmy Ice, and we got you covered. The only place for complete Pirates coverage is Pirate Vibes. Stay true, stay blue, and vibe on.
Ahoy there! Ahoy, me hearties!